Okay, well, we should be live. We should be live on Facebook. If you're with us, good to have you. Let me just refresh the Facebook page on my phone just to make sure that it's all coming through okay. And then we can check out who's on. So who we got? Who we got? Chime in. Chime in if you're with me today. Let me see who's here. Melanie, good to have you. Gwen, always a pleasure to have you on. Sue, Sarah, how you doing? We should have a catch up, Sarah. It's been a while. Jeff, how you doing? Casey, how you doing? Who else we got? We'll just give people just a couple of minutes for people to jump on. It's just a little after 3. Francisco, good morning. Kevin, good afternoon. Tony, good to have you with us. Travis, good morning. Getting some comments coming through. Come on, folks. Chime in if you're listening in. O'Brien, good to have you. Don't think I've seen you here, O'Brien, before. Don't recognize your name. So good to have you. If it's your first time, then good to have you here. If you're here on the call live, then please put a comment in the comment section. Let me know that you're listening. Let me know where you're from. If you're watching this on the replay, then just type in replay so that we know whether you've been on live or whether you've been watching the replay. Mike, good to have you. Guy from Arizona, good to have you. David. So it's starting to hot up a little bit. We've got a few people on board, which is nice to see. I hope you're having a great Thursday. Carmelita, good to have you with us. So, hey Mike, how are you? So let's dig in. Let's dig into today's topic. We've got sort of 10-15 minutes to go through this. We're 3 minutes into our call already, so I'm going to try and keep this as close to our quarter past time frame as possible. Obviously, it is 10 a.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. here in the UK. God knows what time it is if you're in Australia. It's going to be around midnight, I would imagine. Between midnight and 2 a.m. So if you're on the call right now from Australia, then big respect to you for that one, for getting up in the middle of the night to be on the call. O'Brien, live and from Jamaica. Fantastic. I bet you're having better weather than we're having here. Of course, Melanie, all the way from Australia, midnight. Well, listen, great to have you on, Melanie, and really appreciate you staying up so late to get on these calls. That is a true sign of an entrepreneur, that we work stupid hours and stay up till stupid o'clock because we just love what we do. So let's dig into today's topic, because I think this is really relevant for you guys. I try and think about things that potentially you might be battling with mentally or physically within your business and what you're doing right now, so that I can hopefully help you with that on a Thursday. And that's what these wake-up calls are for. They're designed to give you some daily motivation, to give you some food for thought in terms of what you are maybe struggling with, or what you might come up against along this entrepreneurial journey that you've decided to go down. And what we wanted to talk about today was to do with education and how not to get lost in education, because it's a common problem. It's a common problem. I've been working with well over 1,000 people here at Legendary over the last few years, and we see commonalities, we see common threads as people speak to us here. And one of the commonalities that I see is that people seem to get lost in education. They either get overwhelmed with what's available for them to use as education and resource, or they just get completely immersed in that education. And some people never get out of it. They never, ever get out of education. Just chime in if that's something that you feel is ringing true with you, or something that's hitting home with you. Do you feel overwhelmed with the amount of education that's available to you here at Legendary? Do you feel lost and you don't know what to do next, or maybe you don't know where to go next with the training that you have? Or maybe do you feel safe in that environment of education, and as a result of feeling safe, you're kind of struggling to get out of that and move into that action mode and getting things done? Is this ringing true? Jeff, yes, sometimes. Michael, yes, I do. It's common. It's very, very common for people to feel overwhelmed, to lose focus, and often to feel nice and safe in that environment of education. And that sometimes it's just nice to watch videos and get on webinars and think, oh, wow, that's a great piece of information that I've learned today. But that you struggle to get away from that and actually start implementing what you're learning. And what we want to talk about today is really, I think this is crucial for you guys, because if all you're ever doing is learning, then what's happening to your business? Okay, what is happening with your business? Lisa, you say, feel overwhelmed while trying to balance some of life's challenges. Totally normal, Lisa, totally normal. Gwen, seems like I'll never get out due to the loans. I've earned my degrees, but loan payments are overwhelming. Well, that's why you're here, Gwen, at the end of the day. And I want to put a balanced approach to education, because I'm not dissing education. You know, we're an education company, for crying out loud. We're not going to say education's not important. Of course it's important. It's why we exist as a company. We are a world-class digital education platform. That's what we do. It's who we are. So education is important. But you've got to balance that. As Gwen said, it's a struggle to try to balance that and to get everything in place. Well, think about education in the normal system. Think about secular education. And I want you to really think about this for a minute, because most people, if they go into education and go into further education, they may have been in that for probably from the age of 3 at preschool up to maybe the age of 18 to 20, sometimes a little bit longer. So if we set an average of 16 years in education, but think about what you learned being at school. What did you learn? After an average of 16 years of education, did you learn how to do your own taxes? Did you learn how to buy a home? Did you learn how to go and apply for a loan? Did you learn anything about investments? Did you learn anything about building your credit? Did you learn anything about managing and budgeting your money? Did you learn any real, true, useful life skills? And I think for the vast majority of people, the answer is going to be no. And for me, I feel that school it's part of our life. It's part of what we accept as being the norm. It's necessary. From a legal standpoint, I don't know how, what it's like over in the States or anywhere else, but from a legal standpoint over here in the UK, the LEA, which is the local education authority, if a child is not in education, if a parent takes that child out of education, then you'll have the LEA knocking on your door wanting to know why. And as a parent, you can be prosecuted for your child not receiving state education or not receiving an education. So it's mandatory that you have to go through that. But personally, I think that school stands for 6 cruel hours of our lives. That's what I think school stands for on a daily basis. 6 cruel hours of our lives. because I don't feel I learned anything of any real value at school. And maybe you can relate to this, I don't know. But in what you're doing here, education is important because you're learning new practical skill sets to be able to build a digital-based business. Now, in saying that, practical skill sets need to be practically applied. You can't just watch webinars and download videos and go through courses and never implement anything. And the last thing that we want as an education platform is for you to be in that safe environment over here of education and to be in that positive environment of education, because it is a positive one, but we don't want that positive environment to have a negative effect on your business. And what most people seem to be doing is that they are putting their business on ice. So that's just, they're not doing anything over here while they're learning. And they almost feel like they're getting ready to get started. But the more they immerse themselves in education and the safer they feel over here, because they're not actually having to implement anything. And maybe they're a little bit fearful, and maybe you are. Maybe you're a little bit scared of getting something wrong. Maybe you're a little bit scared of cocking it up. Well, do you know what? Don't be. Don't be afraid to get things wrong. Don't be afraid to fail when you implement something that you've learned. Just because you've learned how to do something doesn't mean it's going to go right first time. Chances are you will fail, and you'll fail many, many times. Chances are you'll be pretty bad at stuff to begin with, but you'll get better over time. But the only way you'll get better over time is not by watching more and more videos. It's by practically applying more and more times what you learned when you watched that first video. Does that make sense, what I'm saying here, guys? Just chime in and let me know if this is actually making some sense here. Great. I'm getting some real good feedback. Thank you. Mike, thank you for your comment. Needed to hear this today. Time to take action on what I already know. You're absolutely right there. You are absolutely right. You've been holding off, feeling you're not ready to make the move. Well, listen, I want you to really take this to heart, guys, because it's important, okay? There are many, many ways that you can have your business operating at a professional level. There's lots of resources and lots of strategies that we have here at Legendary to help you have your business operating at a professional level while you're still learning the necessary skill sets that we talk about. If you're going through the 15-day challenge right now, by the time you get to days 8, 9, 10, and 11, we're going to talk about 3 specific skill sets that you need to develop. Not 10 or 20, 3, only 3 that you need to develop that will enable you to generate high income within your business once that business is established, you have your brand established, and you know what you're doing. But what most people feel is that they're not ready. So they go into education and maybe they think that they've got to learn those 3 skill sets before they can start their business. And what we're here to tell you is no, you don't have to be that way. You don't have to do that. You can have your business operating right now, professionally speaking, while you're learning those skills. One way that you can do that is by outsourcing, okay? And I want to just touch on this just at the end of this call today. Outsourcing. A lot of people, right, right, let me have some interaction from you. How many of you feel that outsourcing in your business is for people who have an established business? In other words, I've got a business right now, it's rocking and rolling, I'm tearing my hair out, I can't do everything, there's only so many hours in the day, I need to start and outsource some of this stuff because I can't do it all. So I need to get somebody, I need to outsource this, I need to outsource that so that I can concentrate on the things that I want to concentrate on. How many of you feel that outsourcing is very applicable in that scenario? Just put a yes in the comments if you feel that's the case. The outsourcing is mainly for people who have an established business and that they just don't have enough time to fulfill all of those responsibilities as the business owner, so they need to outsource. Just put a yes in the comments if you feel that that is applicable. That is an applicable scenario. Yes. Nadir, thank you. Tony. O'Brien, yes. Melanie, yes. Thank you. Well, listen, let me tell you, let me give you another scenario. Because what we talk about when it comes to outsourcing is that an ideal time for you to be outsourcing is when you've only just started your business. And let me tell you why. Because if you're in that learning environment and you feel safe there and you like learning and you feel that it's benefiting you, then we don't want to remove you from that, but we do need to prioritize that. And we do need to balance that. So yes, keep on with the education. It's important. But if you feel that your confidence levels and your skill sets through that education are not where they need to be in order for you to execute confidently and successfully. So for example, if you are learning about lead generation, but right now you don't feel that you know enough and that you're confident enough to start generating leads of your own into your business, then outsource it. Outsource the lead generation side. While you're learning about lead generation, outsource the lead generation. Why? Because it means your business is actually functioning, it's operating, leads are coming in. Why on earth would you stick your business on ice doing nothing while you're learning about one of the most critical parts of functioning business, lead generation? Does this make sense? Have your lead generation outsourced so that leads are coming in. Those leads are coming in. You're collecting people into your business. Those leads can be turned into customers and converted into paying customers while you're learning about all this stuff. So outsourcing is a great way to balance education with implementation. Specifically, if you're on that fence or at that transitional phase where you don't feel confident to implement yet. If you don't feel confident to implement yet, get somebody else to do that for you who does, because it will free you time to do the more important things in your business. Learn the skill sets you need to learn. Develop skill sets like lead generation, like copywriting, like presenting. These are some core skill sets that you guys need to be adopting into your business. And if you don't feel confident in doing them, it's because you're not doing them enough. So sales and presenting, you might not feel like you want to put videos out there. It's not stopping you from shooting a video, is it? Just means that maybe right now you don't want to put that live on the internet. Well, if that's the case, then get someone else to do your video production for you. Get it done, get it sorted, get it out there, get it live. Don't get it perfect, just get it going. Don't get it perfect, just get it going, okay? And that implementation, even if it's not you that's doing that, will then give you that breathing space to focus on the skill sets to get you to a confidence level where you do feel that you can execute. And once you start to execute on those things, your confidence will increase. It will get bigger and better. Is this making sense, guys, what I'm talking about here? Travis, thank you. Makes perfect sense, Andy. Connie, true. Appreciate it. Appreciate the comments. We've got a lot of interaction today, which is good. I outsource in my business because I can't do everything. And there's some things that I'm not very good at, you know? You got to play on your strengths. And if there are areas of weakness, doesn't mean that you won't develop those. It just means that maybe there's somebody else that's out there that's better than you at that. I outsource in my business. And do you know what? I also outsource in my life as well. And so does Kirsty, my wife. Because Kirsty runs an online business, as many of you know, and we outsource things. I outsource our gardening. I have a gardener who does all our gardening. 2 reasons. Number one, I don't like gardening, quite frankly. Number two, I can make a damn sight more money per hour doing what I do best in my business than mowing the grass. And I would much rather pay somebody to do that for me so that it frees me time to do more important things, which is run my business. Does that make sense? So it's not just outsourcing in your business that can improve the momentum of your business, but outsourcing some of the stuff that you've got hanging around you in your personal life can also make a big difference. Kirsty outsources the cleaning in the house. She doesn't do any of the cleaning in the house. It's not to say we don't go around and clean up after ourselves. You know, we're not filthy little animals around here, but she outsources the cleaning. We have a cleaner who comes in and does all that for us. Why? Because Kirsty's time is better spent on her business, not mopping floors and cleaning toilets. So we get somebody who has a cleaning business and they love doing that because that's their business and that's what they do for a living. So outsourcing in your life as well as outsourcing in your business can improve the momentum of your business. And I hope that this is making sense, guys. I don't want you, in conclusion here, because we've kind of gone over, and I often do, because I do tend to ramble on a little bit, don't I? So apologies for that. But we don't want you getting lost in education. We like you to be immersed in that education and to really see the value in that. And if you want to talk more about what we have to offer when it comes to further education here, and getting you in live environments to really thrive and learn some cutting edge stuff, then you need to be talking to us about our mastermind events, for example, because they are a perfect place and a perfect environment for you to get the best education from the best marketers on the planet right now. They're just incredible events to get to. So education is important. If it wasn't important, we wouldn't go to the lengths that we go to create the courses that we do, and to host and run live events like we do. If I didn't feel it was important, I wouldn't fly 4,500 miles over to the States several times a year to meet up with Dave and the gang and the team over there to be at our live events. It's important. But what's equally important is balancing education with implementation. And if you don't feel confident to implement right now, then do that in small bites until that confidence increases. And while you're getting there, outsource what you feel you can't do. All right, so that's my tip for today in terms of the wake-up call. Outsourcing is not necessarily for established businesses. It's also for new businesses who need to get things running and need to get things operating on a professional level while they're getting themselves up to speed. So if you want to talk about outsourcing with us and you're going through the 15-day challenge, by the time you get to day 12 in that 15-day challenge, we have a whole section on outsourcing. If you haven't been through that yet, or you're working towards that, look out for that section. Outsourcing is on day 12, and we'll cover that in a lot more detail for you. All right. So I hope you found this helpful. Really appreciate you all being on here. We've got a real good number on today, which is great. Nearly 50 people in total. So that's super to see that. And I'll be here next Thursday, as always, with another topic for discussion. Hope you found this useful for you today. And I hope that this is, giving you some impetus to actually start implementing some of the things that you're learning, or at least think about starting to, if you've been through the 15-day challenge and you're now launching your business, then it's time to launch, it's time to implement, it's time to roll those sleeves up and start getting your hands dirty with this, okay? If you're still going through the 15-day challenge, finish that first, okay? We have a process that we put you through. We've been doing this a long time, guys. Don't try and implement stuff before you're ready, okay? So get through the 15-day challenge with your business plan advisor. If you're working with me as a marketing consultant or one of our other marketing consultants and you're a Blueprint member, then let's get you through that 15-day challenge. Let's get a plan in place to launch your business. Then it's time to implement. What I don't want you guys doing, or what I'm going to recommend that you try not to do, is don't try and go all guns blazing to implement everything now before you're ready. Okay, it's finding that balance, and I hope that we've been able to do that for you today on today's call. So thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure to talk to you guys, and I will see you this time next week, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. UK time on Thursday. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.